All right, Preneurs, today we're going to talk about the top things that everyone should learn about. Let's get right into it. Welcome back, Preneurs. Today we're going to talk about the top 16 things that everyone needs to learn about. Let's jump right into it. Number one, money management. It's kind of insane, you know why? Because I don't know about you, but for me, I felt that I was insane because I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, thinking that it was going to change for me because I was not good at managing my money at all. Okay, so I wish I would have learned this a lot earlier. I think it would have helped me tremendously in my adulthood. So I wish, again, this was something that was taught to me. I think that's number one on the list for a reason, because everybody, no matter who you are, you have your money. It's going to take you to your goals and destination. It's the bridge to be able to do that. So you have to be able to manage that money effectively. And I think that's something that we need to dive more into. So if you have anyone that can support you into that, definitely go and talk to them so you can make sure you're doing the right things to elevate your finances and you're doing the right thing for your family. Number two, stock market investing. You know how many times I should have been rich for investing in a stock, but I didn't. All right, so how many of those that maybe you went through as well? So go ahead and make sure you look at, again, the reports and everything along those lines of that company that you're investing in. But this is something I wish I would have learned more about, because there's so many companies I'm looking at, I'm like, dang, I had that opportunity, but I didn't take advantage of it. And that could have been a great return. Number three is real estate investing. Okay, so when you really start talking about real estate investing, you know, when you start thinking about, okay, what is a house really, right? Is that a liability or is it an asset? And when you start really understanding how to real estate invest and create returns for yourself, I think this could be very good for you if you learn more about it, because of cash flow, because of tax write-offs, things along those lines. So for me, I wish I would have learned that a lot earlier. I think everyone needs to learn about it. Which brings us to point number four, which is crypto. I mean, I'm from Los Angeles, California, a little bit outside of that. So we used to go to this place called the Staples Center. Now they changed the name to crypto.com. So what does that tell you? It tells you that they're putting a lot of investment in regards to where they believe crypto is going. So maybe you haven't looked into it yet. I think you need to learn more about it. Why? Because if they're changing the name of where the Lakers are playing, that's kind of a big kind of notification of where it's at now and where it's going to be in the future as well. So go and look into it if you haven't not yet. I think everyone needs to learn about this as well. If you look at the point number five, okay, being a minimalism. Okay, so what does that really mean? That means like living below your means. All right, you know, in today's society, you go on Instagram, everyone's, you know, showing all their cars, the houses, you know, their belts, the glasses, and, you know, showing lifestyle, right? Why? Because they're showing, again, what could possibly be for them. Maybe they're living there, or maybe it's more of a dream for them. But my point of bringing this up is you want to live below your means, right? You want to position yourself to be able to always have money in your pocket and not to have to fake it, but actually really live that lifestyle. So this might be something that everyone needs to learn about, especially in today's time, so we can always make sure that we're always living the life that we truly are wanting to live. That brings us to point number six, which is tax laws. Now, how many people really don't understand the IRS codes? And when you really start breaking down the IRS and what they actually have is different behaviors that they will give you benefits for if you follow those behaviors. Like, especially if you're an entrepreneur, right? So if you're an entrepreneur and you look at all the IRS codes and how many benefits are for you for the things that you do on a daily basis, because you're creating jobs and you're creating things that consistently keep upgrading our economy. So if you understand those laws, you understand the benefits on what they could do for you and your family as well. This is something that everybody needs to learn about, because it can put a lot of money in your pocket. Which brings us to point number seven, which is basic coding. All right, so I remember I took my kids to school and they were going to a STEM school, which was science, tech, engineering, and also math. And one of the things, I went to one of their classes and my daughter is doing all this coding, like moving robots around and stuff like that. I said, when I was back in school, the only thing we did was open up a book. That was kind of the thing we did. Like, so the crazy thing is what's going on today is what you can really do with the basic coding system. And if you don't understand, I think it's something that everybody needs to learn because of the technology phase that we're in today. If you look at point number 8, which is foreign languages. Okay, foreign languages, which is really a big deal because there's so many different cultures and communities that we always are able to communicate with. But are you just communicating or are you truly connecting? because we could be communicating right now, but it doesn't mean that we're actually understanding each other. So I think foreign language is such a big thing. Why? Because that means that you can talk to anyone almost around the world if you understand multiple languages and really be able to connect with them, not just talk to them. I think that's such a big thing that everyone needs to learn about and develop themselves. Go get your Rosetta Stone, right? Number 9 is human psychology. Okay, I think this is a big one. You know, I read a lot of books on Robert Greene and many others that really dive into human psychology, how to understand the human nature of people, why they think the way they think, why they behave the way they behave, and really understanding the deep thoughts of what really puts people into action, right? So I think it's a big deal, right? Because there's a lot of limiting beliefs that all of us have simply because of our psychology and the way we think, and, you know, maybe a way that we grew up. You know, so this is something that I think everyone needs to learn about, so you learn more about the most important person, which is you and the people around you, so you can be at the most upgraded level for them as well. Next is number 10, which is sales and marketing. Now, if you plan on talking for the rest of your life, then therefore you want to probably be best at articulating yourself at the highest level of you. And sales and marketing is something that you will definitely learn that in that type of field. So I think that's something that everybody needs to learn about. Why? Because sales is something that, again, you're going to be able to communicate with someone to be able to help them get to the next level and be a possible solution to maybe the problem that they have. And marketing is being able to market whatever product or service, or maybe even yourself. Maybe you want to, you know, for me, I had to market myself to my wife, right? Why should you marry me, right? And so those are different things that we're all really good at if you learn about it. And something, if you haven't yet, highly recommend it. Number 11. Which brings us to history. Okay, so what is history, right? I think it's very important for us to know our past, right? And understand who's paved the way for where we're at currently right now. So when you start breaking down history, really understanding, like, okay, maybe for your culture, like what's going on with your culture? How about your community? What's the history behind it, so you can help it move forward as well? That's number 11. You need to learn that. Number 12 is politics. All right, and I'm not talking about being the right, the left. That means nothing. I think you need to know both parties, but really, are you able to think for yourself, right? So are you able to position yourself to understand what's going on that is affecting your community, that is affecting your culture, that is affecting your country? I think that's something that we need to dive more into, because that's how you can create real positive change. Number 13, which is philosophy. Now, when we start talking about philosophy, like, what does that really mean? That means, like, when you're setting different principles, when you're setting different values, when you're setting a foundation on how you think, right? I think that's very important, because you have ideas and perspectives that will consistently keep happening. And it's good to be able to not just see it on one side, all right, but to see all different sides of the coin that's actually happening in real time. And that's all based on philosophy. That's something that everyone needs to learn about. Now, next one is number 14. Which is time management, right? And have you ever wondered, like, hey, how's this person so effective in the day? How's this person the same 24 hours in a day, and then they really weren't that productive? Well, that's all because of time management. They're very focused on making sure that their minutes, that their seconds, that they count, right? So making sure that you are learning more about how you can be the most effective in your 24 hours is very important, because again, we are very limited on how much time we really have. So you want to manage that the most highest point you can. Number 15, which is diet and nutrition. Okay, so you are literally a vehicle. So how are you moving, right, for yourself? You know, what type of food are you putting into yourself? What type of diet are you having right now? What type of nutrition, so you could be at the highest level of you, the highest energy at you at all time? Why? Because your dreams really matter. And a lot of people think wealth is just money. No. Your health is wealth, because that connects everything to what you need to do. If you're not healthy, it doesn't matter how much money you have, all right? Well, so for yourself, you want to position yourself to make sure this is something you're learning about, so that you are at the highest octane level of you. And that brings us to the last one, which is basic home maintenance. No matter where you live, doesn't matter if you rent or you own. I'm just talking about just being able to understand how to maintain where you live, right? That you're a steward of where you live. If you have a plumbing issue, can you know how to plumb it for a little bit? Do you know how to paint the wall? Do you know how to hang up a picture? Do you know how to handle the smoke detectors if that ever happens, right? Just little things that, again, when you're living, that you want to be able to have the basic understandings of being a steward of your environment. So with that, Preneurs, that will be the top 16 I think everyone needs to learn about. And hopefully you take these leadership hacks and you're able to increase on a daily basis by a minimum of 1%, because if we do that, we're going to be able to not just increase your profit, not just increase your passion, but most importantly, increase your purpose. So click that notification if you haven't already, so you're updated with all the new videos that's happening in the future, and we'll see you guys in the next one.